Hey, what's up, guys? This is David Chase Taylor of 911truther.org. Today is April 3rd of 2026. So, based on breaking news and events, it appears the CIA headquarters located beneath CERN at Lake Geneva in Switzerland is going to stage a full-scale Chinese, Iranian, North Korean, or Russian attack, bombing, and/or invasion targeting multiple sovereign nations on the date of April 4th of 2026, specifically to trigger all-out World War III. Really quick, in respect to the numerology, the date of April 4th is 4-4. So the number 4 equates to the letter D in the English alphabet, which equates to dead and died, because this is essentially when the CIA kills humanity on this particular numerology. Also, because the number 4 was previously a cross, this is two crosses is a double cross, and this is where CIA in Switzerland basically stabs the world in the back on this particular date. It's also imperative to note that Barack Hussein Obama is the 44th president of the United States, and this impending attack on April 4th is designed to politically resurrect this man. So it's highly likely that U.S. President Donald J. Trump will be killed in this impending attack. So before I get into the potential scenarios, I just want to quickly highlight the numerology. So the date of April 4th is the 94th day of the year. And the number 94, because the number 9 equates to the letter I, which doubles as the number 1. This is basically 14, which equates in the Roman score to the letter X, which is known internationally as a symbol of death. Also, a 4 plus a 1 forms the cross. So this is essentially what's called reflective numerology. Also, the date of well, I should say really quickly that in order to basically set up this scenario, the CIA has staged multiple events featuring the respective navies of China, Iran, and Russia. And so basically this narrative began back on, most recently was evident back on January 9th through the 16th of 2026, when they staged Operation Will for Peace off the coast of the Republic of South Africa with the Chinese, Iranian, and Russian Navy. Prior to that, on January 22nd of 2022, the CIA staged Operation Chiru 22 in the Indian Ocean, which featured the Chinese, Iranian, Russian Navy. And then prior to that, on December 31st of 2019, the CIA staged a joint naval exercise between the Chinese, Iranian, and Russian Navy, also in the Indian Ocean. And the date of April 4th, 2026 marks exactly 2,286 days, 2,286 days. And of course, this number contains the number 26, which equates to the letter Z in the English alphabet, which is an acronym for Zionism. It also has the number 86, which means to be kicked out of, or to kill, or to be thrown out of, because this is essentially, the CIA is basically going to institute a new world order under the guise of World War III on the date of April 4th. Also, in order to photograph and intimately associate the leaders of these nations together, Chinese President Xi Jinping, Russian President Vladimir Putin, and then Iranian President Hassan Rouhani met on the sidelines of the Shanghai Cooperation Summit, the SCO Summit, in Shanghai, China, back on June 14th of 2019. This is coincidentally Donald J. Trump's birthday, and the date of April 4th marks exactly 2,486 days since this event transpired. So the number 24 equates to the letter X, which is known internationally as the symbol of death, which also reflects the numerology of the day of the year. It also has the number 26, which equates to the letter Z, which is an acronym for Zionism. And it has the number 48, which is also Barack Hussein Obama's birthday of August 4th. The reason why I mentioned the birth date of Donald J. Trump is because this impending attack is specifically designed to kill him. Although this impending attack could in fact be an organic, real-world Chinese, Iranian, North Korean, or Russian military offensive, it's 99.999% certain that this is going to be a major false flag attack by the shadow navy of the Israeli Navy, which I call a shadow fleet. Basically, unbeknownst to most of humanity, the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, their respective three branches, the Israeli Air Force, the Israeli Navy, and I forget the other branch, they have basically been leeching off humanity in more ways than one, but particularly in respect to the military. So they are the recipient of all the decommissioned ships from they have their choice of the decommissioned ships from the Royal Air Force, the Royal Navy, from the United States Navy, and therefore they have garnered a massive military fleet consisting of aircraft carriers, destroyers, submarines, and they also are the recipients of state-of-the-art prototypes developed by the military-industrial complex such as Raytheon, Boeing, McDonnell Douglas, etc. And because the CIA is in control of the satellites which run the radar systems and the GPS systems around the world, they are basically able to navigate the seas of the world, the seven seas of the world, with virtual impunity. They are basically not subject to radar. So that is to say that the Chinese, Russian, American, Canadian, etc. governments of the world cannot see these ships. So it appears that these submarines, which the Israeli Navy has an undisclosed number of German-made Dolphin-class submarines, and that they, along with these ships, are going to launch an unprecedented attack targeting multiple theaters of war and multiple sovereign nations on the date of April 4th of 2026 under the guise of a surprise Pearl Harbor-like attack by China, Iran, North Korea, and or Russia. So in the Asian Pacific theater of war, we can expect some sort of naval bombardment targeting Japan, South Korea, Philippines, Singapore, Australia, and or New Zealand. Also islands such as Guam, Tonga, Hawaii, other locations in the Pacific Ocean could be targeted. In respect to North America, the United States, Canada, Cuba, Venezuela, Argentina, Brazil, and or the Falkland Islands could come under this attack. In respect to Europe, major NATO nations such as England, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and Portugal may come under attack, and these attacks will likely target United States Armed Forces related military installations. In the Middle East theater of war, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Israel, they'll likely attack themselves. Kuwait, UAE, Yemen, Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon will also likely come under a full-scale attack. So exactly how this is going to play out in reality is obviously not known, but it appears that these Israeli ships, will stay 10 to 15 miles off the shore of these respective locations around the world, and then they will launch a unprecedented naval barrage targeting these locations. These are likely going to target metropolitan cities on the coast, such as Manila, Tokyo, Los Angeles, Seattle, New York, Miami, Brussels, Amsterdam, London, etc., and then Rome. And then what they'll do is they'll basically do a hit and run. So they'll basically launch a full-scale barrage, and then they'll just dip out, like literally go underneath the surface, and then they'll subsequently blame it on submarines and or ships from the aforementioned Chinese, Iran, North Korea, and or Russian Navy. And this will likely be executed under the guise of a cyber attack. So they'll claim that China or Russia or Iran leveled a cyber attack at NATO or European Union or U.S. Radar installations, and therefore they were able to execute the attack without being noticed or being detected. So this impending naval barrage targeting multiple theaters of war on the date of April 4th is likely going to feature first a cyber attack targeting radar and satellites, and then it's going to be followed by a huge, massive wave of 9/11 style kamikaze suicide drone bombing attacks, what they call one-way drones, ballistic missile strikes, cruise missile strikes, drone strikes, mining attacks, rocket attacks, torpedo strikes, underwater drone strikes, possibly an electromagnetic pulse event, ship sinkings, and they may conclude this naval barrage with some sort of nuclear event. So that is to say that in the first, second, or third hour of the attack, once the whole world is tuned in to this bombardment, then they'll drop a nuke targeting a major city. And this impending attack is going to likely feature the mass deployment, because Israel is not party to the Biological Weapons Convention, the BWC, I believe it's called. So this is because they are going to deploy what are called illegal arms, namely blood agents, choking agents, nerve agents, and blister agents. And this is designed to basically, because these chemicals essentially eat you alive, this is designed to create horrific videos of people basically squirming on the ground while their skin is basically being eaten off them. And that is why, they get off on this stuff. And that is why Israel routinely uses white phosphorus in attacks on unarmed civilians in Gaza. So just to recap, CIA is plotting a Chinese, Iranian, North Korean, and/or Russian military offensive targeting multiple sovereign nations around the world in the Asia-Pacific theater of war, the North American theater of war, the European theater of war, and/or the Middle East theater of war on the date of Saturday, April 4th of 2026. So this is also, we have to remember that this is also they are basically going to stage this event. It's likely going to start in the Asian Pacific theater of war on the morning of April 4th, and then it's going to go around the globe. And so it's likely going to start with an alleged Chinese assault targeting multiple locations in the theater of the Asian Pacific theater of war. So what we know is that it's going to be executed by the Israeli Navy, which is probably 10x or 100x times larger than it appears on paper. And it's going to be chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear in nature. It's going to be used to spawn a second global biological pandemic, and that is to say that they will likely claim that China deployed some sort of weaponized biological contagion, such as anthrax, Ebola, or smallpox, or some sort of COVID-26 type virus, and it will be used to trigger World War III. And what is imperative to know is that the Israeli Navy is acting directly under orders from Geneva, Switzerland. So we have to make a distinction here between Jewish states and non-Jewish states. So we have the first Jewish state in Switzerland, which was formed August 1st, circa August 1st, 1309. We have the second Jewish state, which is called Jewish Autonomous Oblast. It was formed in the far east of the Russian Federation back on May 7th of 1934. And then we have the third Jewish state, known as the State of Israel, which was formed on May 14th of 1948. And with these three, this is the euphemism Trilateral Commission. This is because these three countries, these three Jewish states, essentially run the world. And they are going to work in unison to basically attack multiple nations on the date of April 4th, specifically to trigger World War III. And of course, the date of April 4th not only bears the Obama numerology, because this attack is designed to politically resurrect Obama, but it bears the sixth numerology, which is found on the six-pointed star of the Israeli flag. So this is not a coincidence, because the number 4 and 4 when put together, forms 4 was previously a cross, and when you put them together, it forms the letter F, which was previously 2 crosses on top of each other, which I believe is found on the flag. Still today, it's found on the flag of, I believe it's Slovakia. So this, of course, as with all terror attacks, political assassinations, and acts of war, it always has the numeric signature of the entity which is going to execute it. And April 4th of 2026 is no difference. So obviously, if this comes to fruition in reality, I would kindly ask that you download this video and share it with local, state, and federal law enforcement, military, and intelligence officials, as well as with local, national, and international media outlets. Peace.